What's going on? Trevor Steele, Clean Conversations. This is a new podcast, and I figured why not get the most controversial, most well-known name in the industry to jump in randomly and get his opinion on the state of the union. So without further ado, Ron Musgraves, welcome to the house, buddy.
Thanks for the introduction, man. It's my pleasure to be here. That's funny. At least you got one thing right. Most controversial. I'll take that title. I don't know about the most famous, but the most controversial. But it's a fun thing.
I've known you a long dang time, Ron, and I would say you are without a doubt the godfather of pressure washing. I remember the first time I met you at, I believe it was the Milwaukee. This was Paul's Cassandra's event in
probably 2008 or 9.
8 or 9, yeah.
Yeah. And then you came to Myrtle Beach, right?
Right. So, well, I'm from here, but I lived in Maryland at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was I think he was just doing, it was a fleet washing event. You know, I was in fleet washing at the time. I don't think he even had the store yet. Or no, it was a
EnviroSpec North. He was involved
right.
with EnviroSpec. He was doing EnviroSpec North. He shut that down and then started the Power Wash store. But he shut that down and didn't start the Power Wash store for I think almost a full year, maybe even longer, a little longer. But He had his what was the name of his fleet washing business? Man, I can't even remember. Isn't that crazy? That's what happens when you get old, man. I got to take my brain gum. You know, I should have. I didn't take it because this was a fluke. We were just coming on just for giggles, right?
So you do the Joe Rogan.
My wife won't let me take it. She says that I'm crazy on it. And I said, no, is that a bad thing or a good thing? And she says, no. She said, you just can't take it. I said, okay, well then it's fine. I won't take it.
I did the what's the one, the brain something? I don't know. Anyway, it was too much for me, man. It felt like I was drugged up. Jack couldn't sleep. Too much energy. It wasn't good. I'm also the same guy that can't drink a cup of coffee after 3 p.m. or I won't sleep at all. So
yeah, I could take a cup of coffee probably and go to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know people like that.
I'm like Bam, you know, all those guys that traveled with me that had to share hotel rooms. They were like, they couldn't believe it. Like my head went down on the pillow and I was like, I was out.
Yeah.
I was out like a light. But you know me, man, I would go 100 miles an hour while I was up.
You said what would go? Not anymore?
I would go 100 miles an hour.
Not now?
Man, I'm not. No, we were just talking about that. Ron Musgraves is not. You're not going to see Ron Musgraves ever putting on 1,000-person event. I love it. I love it now. 20, 50 people, intimate. Even when you get 100, it's more. There's people that want me to do 100. And I always try to tell people right now, it's quality over quantity. Get the people that want to be there, that want to learn. But you know the game that we were playing back then. The game we were playing back then is we had to keep these distributors happy. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
And I got that, and I understood that probably better than anybody in the industry, and I brought the money in. And no more. I'm not doing that anymore. Ron Musgraves isn't for sale in that context anymore.
In that context.
I don't need that. But while you're talking about it, make sure you get to the CETA event in September. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you've got nothing but logos behind you, but
but no, you know, and these have you seen these things now? They were a piece of junk, okay, years ago, but they have got full. I mean, I think I don't know what size diesels they are, but these are diesel. These things are power. These things can power big trucks now, and they just have these little itty bitty vehicles, and they're running a PTO system off of them. I think that was their problem before. They didn't have enough power, and now they got all kinds of. These are Cummins diesels. They got all kinds of power.
That shop was incredible. I watched your live video for a few minutes, man.
Yeah.
What a dream shop.
Oh, those $800,000 vehicles. Isn't that crazy? $1 million pressure washers. Who would have ever?
That's what people don't get about this industry. We think that because you call yourself the condo king, or you you've got a few contracts. You think that you like how I dropped that in there?
You're balling, man.
Yeah, you think that you're somehow making an impact on the industry. This is a huge industry. We just don't realize it.
Yeah, and not everybody's accounted for. I don't believe that. And I'll tell you right now, man, California is bigger than anybody thinks with this industry. And there's so many guys out there. I think that there's more contract cleaners in California. The thing that we don't understand is like California and everything. Oh, there we go. I thought I could be you for a little bit, man. I think the things we don't understand about California is like California, and people don't want to hear this, they were ahead of the game. They're ahead of the game on most things. They were 25 years ahead of the pressure washing game. And there was people out there doing pressure washing in homes and in businesses long time ago. And this is just, on the East Coast and stuff like that, it's only a 20-year-old game for the commercial world doing exterior cleaning. It's not even that old.
Yeah.
Everybody says, "Oh, they're packed with them." Florida might be packed with a lot of hacks. Guys working out of their trunks with Home Depot washers. But I'm telling you, if you take a ride out to California, you see serious companies. They're already on PTO systems. Did you see the picture of Jeremy's? I mean, it's pretty slick. He's running three drives off of it. I don't know what he's running in the back of that pickup truck, but obviously the pressure washer, potentially an additional generator. But most of these guys, don't even realize this. And I don't want to quote this before I want to use AI. Trucks from 2017 on now are on board 3,500 minimum, 3,500 watt generators are on board on these things. And so you don't even need that Honda generator anymore. Your truck's a power plant,
Yeah, I had a long conversation with Jeremy about that, but I have not seen the update since, I don't know, 4 months ago, 5 months ago.
What's up, Barry?
Barry, what's going on, man? I definitely need to look that up and ask him about it, because from what I could hear, that was some revolutionary stuff he was working on.
That's the future. It's the future of the industry. It'll be. It was. What I don't understand is why more carpet cleaners haven't done it, and I think.
Yeah.
I think what the reality on that is that the way that industry is, I think that was kept from the manufacturing side. They all want to be their own guys, so they, and PTO wasn't let's say standard in all trucks where they're making it now. It's a standard thing. The generator on board standard. I mean, this is the future. Everybody's going to be building one. And if they don't, I don't think they're going to keep up. And then we have, I don't know about you guys, but most of the places here in Phoenix, if you were to walk into a lawnmower shop that you walked into 5 years ago, these mowers are all electric now. The weed eaters are all electric.
And they're good. They're good.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
I mean, there's no reason to buy. If you ever take care of your own lawn or even do lawn maintenance, man, running a weed eater is not fun.
Man, I am thankful that I do not get woke up anymore at 6 a.m. with that weed eater near my door or near my window. I mean, it just doesn't happen anymore. And basically, the RFPs here for Homeowner Association and Community Management, they're not allowed to use gas-operated equipment. I mean, that's just how it is. And people don't realize it'll affect our industry. Whether the state says you can't run a small engine or the county or wherever it is, it's not going to matter because
it'll be in the RFP.
It's going to be in the CC&R soon. I mean, they're going to say you can't bring gas-powered equipment here any day, any day.
I agree. So how long before the drones actually become viable? Because I have my opinions about that. The drone cleaning is just not quite there, but it's getting closer and closer every day. What do you think about that?
I don't know, man. I think that the first bad accident is going to be a huge setback. That's my problem. And I mean, I've heard, and I don't know what the real deal is on this, but I've heard about the insurance issues that they've had and the problems when they find out, hey, we're spraying, a herbicide, on a 25 stories up on a building, over the public, over
In the
the
wind.
public. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, it's just to me, and I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to be Karen, because I'd like to see it. I thought it was pretty innovative. I saw a lot of the autonomous surface cleaners at the CETA show 2 years ago. You don't like it?
Nah, it's not there yet. I
Oh
mean,
no.
if you're a commercial property owner, and I mean like huge commercials, maybe eventually it'll benefit you. But man, this is what I think. AI, number one, AI is going to start sucking up all the decision makers, the people that work with their brain. They're going to start losing their jobs. We all know that. There's no question about it. So where are they going to go? They're going to go to working with their hands.
That's
So,
the first one I've heard, because
so working
everybody
with your
usually
hands
says
is going to be
lower
cheaper.
level. We said lower level guys are going to lose their job. You're over there. They're getting rid of all the smart people. They're going.
No, I truly stand by that. I truly stand by that. Doctors are in trouble. Lawyers are in trouble. Architects are in trouble. Anybody that uses their brain for a living full time, they're not going to be obsolete, but they're definitely going to feel it. And so what's going to happen is the service industry is going to feel a giant influx. Why do you think private equity is dumping so much money into our industries, into the service and the trades? It's because of this shift that's occurring. And so when that happens, all of a sudden the cost of hiring labor, that's going to shift into the brand's favor. Whoever has the brand is going to have the power and be able to hire people to do that job that's autonomous. It's not going to be required. If they don't tell me you have to have an autonomous rig, I'm going to be able to put 3 guys on it and spend less money and know it'll be handled. I don't know. I think it's going to be a long time before we start seeing
No, I don't think it's
autonomy.
going to go away. You're gonna, somebody's gonna have to take even the robot. They're gonna have to drive them there, even though there's not a vehicle. I mean, even if it's autonomous truck, somebody's still gonna have to drive the robot there and set him up. I mean,
Yeah.
and tell him what to do. I mean, it's.
But
It's
I do
still,
feel like the drone technology, it could be used well in window cleaning. But if you're spraying sodium hypochlorite out of a $25,000+ mechanical metal machine, you're spraying sodium hypochlorite.
I believe it was Unger, and this was the Win in Las Vegas. I believe it was the first one to have a robot clean their windows. That was back in 2008.
Whoa!
2008, and they had the
First and last time they did it.
Going up and down. No, they've had that to this day, and they've actually upgraded it, and it's even gotten better. And because when I went to Vegas, I wanted to see this thing, and I wanted to know, hey, is this? Because the funniest thing is, I saw that in it was Charleston. It was at a Charleston show, and they had it there, and they were just introducing it, and they just put it on the Wynn, because at the time the Wynn had just been built. Steve Wynn just built the Wynn in Las Vegas, which you don't own anymore. But the next time I went to Vegas, I would go, man, I want to drive by that one so I can see that thing. Sure enough, it was moving up and down the hotel, and it continuously did that. I don't know if it's still being used today, because I haven't put my eyes on it in years. But I know at several times back there, it was there. And that's been 15 years ago almost, So the technology's been there. It just hasn't gotten as good as it's gotten now. I mean, the thing that I think is cool, years ago, we started seeing these automatic floor machines at Walmart, right? You see them, right? Mm-hmm. Boom, boom, they're running around cleaning the places. And hey, Walmart's cleaner now, So is Costco. I mean, they've got these things running around the places now, and the places are just a lot cleaner than they once were. And I said this back then, polished concrete is becoming more popular, even exterior of retail now. Got kids knocking on the door.
No, I keep hearing noises. My guys are probably going to be rolling in any second.
Okay, we can end it anytime you want. Let's give these guys some value, though. What do you? We got on here. We were talking about, I think I saw your systems thing, and I don't like it when people get confused with an SOP. SOPs are reduced liability to the business owner. Okay, are they great? Because we have the one employee out of 100 that will read it from cover to cover, and they'll actually retain something. And I guess that's a guy that might be put in a leadership role. Okay, maybe that's how you identify somebody that might want to be in a leadership role. But
if they read that.
But we all know that most of them don't read that. And pull out your one page. I said this before you showed it to me. I said every system will be one page. I gave you an example. A system isn't a system without accountability. You said you had another cute phrase. What was it? A system isn't a system.
Well, a system has to be coached or it won't survive.
Coached. Okay, yeah, exactly. And then we got into the, hey, these people that have worked for me for 15, 20 years, they took the same 20 answer question test, and they took that over and over again to where they got tired of it. But guess what? They knew it like the back of their hand at that point. And they were able to, like you were saying, help the coaching process because they knew it so well. Because we can sit there and tell these people this. We can have the best teaching and training that we think we got. And the bottom line is people just don't retain it. And even when they retain it, we've all seen this. I've got guys that would do something for 10 years. And all of a sudden, Mario, why are you doing that differently? You're like, you're like, wait a minute, man. I don't know. I just started doing it this way. And now I've been doing it this way. And we're like, okay, you can't do it that way. You got to do it this way, You
know what I've discovered is first of all, that goes back to the coaching thing, right? If you tell somebody that you have to do it, that's not enough. You have to coach them through it. But if you don't explain to them why, in detail, why we do it this way, and they don't buy into the process, then that's when it'll fail. That's just what
absolutely, because everybody always thinks they got a better way, but they don't understand. They want the shortcut. Here's another one for you. Okay, so you got somebody doing your AR, right, and you're receiving invoices, and if you're doing commercial, the remittance thing, there's multiple invoices on remittance, right? Multiple. You want to know where the mistake's always made? It's always made on the last entry. Because what do they forget to do on the last entry? They forget to hit that button. It's always the last entry. And you could go back to that days of accounting, and you can sure as bet if a customer calls and says, well, we paid that invoice, we'd always go, hey, go back, unwrap that. It's the last entry. We know it is. And 80, 100%, 99% of the time, it's that last entry because somebody didn't hit that enter button on the last entry. So what do? You form a system that on the last entry, they have to initial that they hit the enter button on the remittance slip. And guess what? It happens less. It happens less.
Yeah. So this is what I say all the time. I love systems. I'm a systems nut job. Systems is just finding a way to solve real life problems as they occur and taking your opinion and put it down in writing and then coach your team and make sure that you have a process for that. So it doesn't have to be this overly complicated thing. You might be solving a really, really small problem. And the better you get, the more scalable and the more you advance, the more you realize that your problems are smaller and smaller and smaller. That means you're doing everything right. That means keep going. Don't give up. There's a lot of things left to do. Not everybody, like daily truck inventory. That's kind of a big one. We talked about that a few minutes ago. That's not a small thing to solve. But once you get that done, then you can fine tune it over time. And don't waste a whole bunch of time trying to get it perfect right out of the gate. Your team and you will collaborate and get that perfect over time.
So how many times did you drag the hose behind you on your pressure washer?
What do you mean behind? Oh, like driving down the road?
Yeah.
Oh, I got one for you. I just put a post on Facebook today, actually, because I had to jump into the field. I'm the worst at following my own systems, for the record. Nobody coaches the coach, right? So it's you got to be honest about it. Nobody's following up with me to make sure I do my job. So I had to jump in the field yesterday after coming back from the lake with my family because one of my guys had to call out, and we had to get the job done. So I just got home, threw my clothes on, jumped in the truck. Anyway, on the way home, somehow the surface cleaner wasn't secured correctly, and it's gone. I no idea where this $2,000 surface cleaner is. It's on the highway somewhere.
Is your name on it?
No. Can you believe that? Okay, perfect example.
I
Perfect
quit putting
example.
names. I quit putting names on the ladders to reduce my liability.
That's smart. That's smart. But that's a perfect example of what a system is to me. Okay, there's a problem. You didn't follow your own system. The surface cleaner fell out. Okay, what's the next thing you can do? Okay, put a sticker with your contact number on every single surface cleaner. That's a simple system. If you see a surface cleaner that doesn't have a sticker on it, throw a sticker on it.
And we leave them off pump-up sprayers too.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so that's what a system is. And if you're solving small problems, like I said, then you're doing a lot of things right.
Yeah. That's what it is. And we use that example of the one everybody knows. They've gone in the bathroom a million times. They see the employee that signs off at quarter after the hour that they check the bathroom. We all know that if there's not a manager that comes in 15 minutes later, 30 after the hour, checking on the employee, that is not a system. It's broke because we know that they won't follow it. They go in there, they lay eyes on a dirty toilet, and they do nothing, and they sign it and walk back out.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And you said accountability, right? So
accountability it has to be in the system. And we use this by photos, right? Most of our stuff is here's a before picture, here's an after picture. If those pictures aren't right, then, and our systems follow before. We want a money shot. We call it a money shot photo, which means we want an in between the wash. Okay. So we know that they put the soap or the detergent on the substrate. And now we want the after picture. Yep. So we went one step further with that because, sometimes if a house is clean, before and after pictures, when you're doing maintenance, they can look the same, and you don't want to get this guy going out there and going, click, there's my before, click, there's my after. I'm going to go over here and take a nap and drink a soda and log in a bunch of hours, and then I'm going to leave.
Yeah, so we incentivize any social media pick any pick that you provide that we can use for social media, we incentivize in daily bonuses.
Nice.
And that's a great way to get lots of content and to build that up over time. But another thing about accountability is accountability in 99% of businesses is from the top down. It's never from the bottom up. The guys on the bottom aren't keeping the guys on top accountable. So we've implemented performance pay, which, that's a whole nother conversation. But that
now makes it come up from the bottom up
because they're looking at the price and they're saying, hey, dude, this doesn't look right. Like they didn't care if I underpriced a job before, but they care now. That's their check. So they're coming straight to the top, and I'm going straight to my coordinator, and I'm going straight to my team saying, hey, what happened here? Why is this one? It looks like it's off by $140.
Well, this goes back now. Now let's just jump to the sales, and these guys go, well, we're just going to pay a guy commission. Well, you know what? I'll sell for you all day on commission, but I will price all those jobs to sell.
That's right. Because they don't care. They don't care. But when my lead techs and my field techs are coming to me daily saying, hey, salesman number 3 is constantly underbidding because they know the pricing because they carry it everywhere they go.
Yeah.
My whole team knows how we price things. So they do add-ons, they do sales. Everything is a system, right? And it's from the bottom up, accountability from both sides.
There are so many things to cover, man. We could cover tons and tons of stuff.
Well, let's wrap it up. Let's tell them what we're doing. We're doing a more formal podcast. I'm going to rip Ron apart. I'm going to break him down like a little baby. He's going to be crying.
Let's challenge the audience right now. Bring us the questions, man.
He's going to be crying, telling us about his childhood and how he got here. And you're going to see a side of Ron that you didn't know existed. That's my goal. I'm going to break him down.
Well, hey, man, I appreciate you having me on, man. And like I said, great family just got off vacation. I saw that's awesome stuff, man. Always, they're never long enough, are they?
Man,
you need a vacation.
I think they are. Yeah, I'm the other guy. I love being in the office. I love going back to work, honestly, but I do love my time with my family. I'm not one of those guys that needs a vacation from my life. I love just spending time in the backyard with my crew, and that's the truth. But vacations are nice. Let's tell them about our podcast. We've got a full 1 hour long podcast coming up August 4th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The podcast is called Through the Noise by Trevor Steele. I'll provide a link in the comments. Like I said, we're going to dive in, but what we talk about in that podcast is kind of, who you are to the core, how you build your brand, what your morals and what your character is. And we really get into the deep stuff. And I think Ron, being controversial as he is, I think he's misunderstood. I think he's a big old teddy bear. I think he's got a great heart and he's a good man. And I'm going to make sure everybody knows about it.
Yeah, but I'm unorthodox too. You know that. I'm unorthodox.
And he's just like Donald Trump. He can't keep his mouth shut. If he would just keep his mouth shut, everybody would know that he's a great man.
I appreciate it, man.
All right, dude. You mean the world to me. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.